Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annalisa and this is Homemade Sunshine. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 ways that I am saving money and being frugal this spring. All are spring related, but could be taken into other seasons, but all are frugal ways that I am going about this spring homemaking season. So the first thing I'm showing you guys is that I've taken up knitting. So knitting on its own is not like a frugal saving money hack that I would say, but what it's related to is that this spring and into the summer, really any time of year, but there's going to be more of this stuff I think going on this time of year, at least it has been in my area, is look for free classes and free events. My local library is doing a free knitting class that you can sign up for. Anybody can sign up for it, and you take 6 weeks, once a week, knitting classes. So far I've had 3 sessions. So we've learned to knit, purl, cast on, cast off, and 2 ways to increase stitches and 2 ways to decrease stitches. So you can see that I'm just here practicing my stitches, and it's been really fun and really enjoyable. So there's lots of these sort of things everywhere. I know a lot of Lowe's are doing spring classes and things of that nature. My local Lowe's is going to be doing I think it's a build your own planter box class. I'm not entirely sure what all is going to be involved, but they're going to teach you how to build a planter box. And I do know that you get a coupon for $10 off a $75 purchase. So there are free things going on all the time, and you just kind of have to follow people on Instagram, follow your local town government, follow local businesses in your area, follow your local library. My library also does a once a month social crafting hour for adults, and I've done one already, and I'm registered for this month's course, and it is so much fun. And no matter what age, I mean, I was the youngest person by far, and I still had an absolute blast. It was so much fun getting to talk to the other ladies, and it's a great way to be social, but also do something fun. So there's ways to have fun and not spend a whole ton of money. That's not like going out and shopping and spending a lot of money. The only thing I had to pay for this knitting course is she asked if we were able to bring a replacement skein of yarn for the next course, which I thought was very reasonable. Some people even had yarn at their homes that they could bring, and so you could spend as much or as little on the yarn for the next class as you felt able. So there's lots of things going on all the time. There's festivals coming up, and at least around here, a lot of our festivals have like free activities for kids. They'll have free music, and at the very least, you can just walk around and listen to the music and enjoy getting to see all of the different vendors set up. But like I said, just look around. There are free or inexpensive events everywhere. One of our YMCA's is doing like a free pickleball class, like teaching people how to play pickleball. So I really encourage you to either get on Facebook or Instagram and follow these events that are going on in your area, because they're free. They hope people attend, and if you attend and help increase the numbers, then they're more willing to keep doing these things in the future. But if nobody attends, then they're more likely to cut those programs in the future. So there are things with cooking, there's knitting, there's all sorts of things. There's sewing classes. Some other libraries in our area do like get to know your sewing machine, or they'll do planting classes, all sorts of stuff. The ideas are limitless, and I know depending on if you live in a more rural area or a more urban area, that there will probably be even more options if you live in a major city. So I don't live in a very big area, and I still even have these courses and these free events available to me. So like I said, just get out there and look around. So here I am just showing you my knits and purls. So my next spring frugal homemaking tip is to work with the plants you already have. The ones I'm showing you right now are those ones that I replanted earlier this year, but work with what's already there. I haven't planted any of these items that I'm showing you right here. But I didn't go around just digging things up and throwing in whatever I wanted. I am trying to work with our natural rocky landscape and the beautiful blooms that are already here, or things that were left behind like this vintage gate. Eventually I'll probably train a flower up around it, but work with what's already on the property first. So my next tips are also in reference to the outdoors and gardening, is to get plants and clippings from friends and family. Everything I'm showing you here has come from my parents. These hostas, the brick actually was already on our property, so that relates to the last tip of using what's already there. It just wasn't in that circle. Here we're growing some garlic that my parents brought us, which this is actually just garlic from the grocery store, and it's already starting to sprout up. But there's lots of plants that you can just take clippings of that will grow really well. This is a little patch we made for some daisies, and the rock is once again from our property. So there's a lot of things that you can ask people for clippings to start your own plants that's not going to like kill their plant in the process. We also have some little wineberry sprouts, also from my parents. My husband loves wineberries and has fond memories of them growing up, so that's his outdoor project at the moment. And this is just such a nice thing to be able to do in the spring, starting to garden, but garden on an inexpensive way, because if you go to places like Lowe's or plant nurseries, plants can be so incredibly expensive, which is why in the first place I said work with what's already been planted there. We had tons of daylilies earlier this spring, so don't just go tearing up your new house's yard because you don't know what's already there. If you're buying an old house like we are, like we did. Our house is older, so all these plants were already there. And for the places that you want to put new plants, ask family, ask friends. I'm sure they're willing to give you clippings. Daisies grow like crazy. Hostas grow like crazy. So the next money-saving homemaking hack for spring is another gardening related item, even though we are in the kitchen, are picking up discounted plants from Lowe's. So if you do not have the family or friends to get plants from their gardens, or if maybe you moved into a new development and there are not a lot of plants naturally that you can work with, this is another great thing. So my parents picked this up for us, 3 of these from their local Lowe's. This is the wrap that goes on it. These were normally $15, and I got them, as you can see, hopefully, that they were 25 cents. So this is a basil grow kit, so we got 2 of those, and oh, this one's like only barely hanging on. A spearmint grow kit for 25 cents. So 75 cents total for those. I personally think $15 would have been kind of a ripoff. I don't even know why these were discounted, except for maybe that like the pots that they came with are a little dinged up, which, I mean, they're gonna be outside, so they're gonna get dinged up, but it comes with some seeds, the pot, and then it says a cocoa peat disc. I don't know what that is. So that's another great way to save money, is by getting plants discounted from your local Lowe's. Last year, I was even able to, at an Amish farmer's market, be able to get some like seeds that they had started, but like the plants weren't doing super hot, and you can get those for free, which I was able to revive one of them. I think they all would have done better, but they accidentally got too hot in the sun. I think they got like a little bit, you know, they died. But one of them did make it, I think, a dill plant. But just look around some of these places, you know, not all their plants take, they'll discount them, and then you can get the savings and try to revive them yourself. The internet has tons of things about reviving plants that have died and, you know, or not, well, that are droopy and sad and on their way out, but this is another great hack. So let's get this one planted and started. So I know that a lot of these tips have been very garden outdoors centered, but that's because this is the first year that we own our own home and we are really able to do what we want with gardening, which is super exciting. I am looking forward to it so much, but if you just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, a lot of the times it can be intimidating just how expensive all of the plants are. And you think, oh my gosh, like, what if it doesn't even work? What if it doesn't take and you've wasted all this money and then the plant doesn't survive? So it's excellent when you can find these sorts of things on clearance. And I'm not saying that it's going to be always a super great deal every single time like this one was. I can't believe that it was 25 cents. But you never know when you're going to run across a deal, and you need to just snatch it up when you're able to. There are lots of great ways to save money and still be able to do all the fun spring homemaking things that you see other women online doing with gardening and baking and springtime cooking, fashion. And if you just have limited resources or you're trying to save money for your future, then you just have to get creative. And that's one of the best parts about homemaking, is that it allows us to be creative. So now I have 15 minutes to wait for this cocoa peat, I think is what they said again. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. For these to both hydrate. They're in each 2 cups of warm water, and they're going to absorb all of that. And I'll then start following the instructions on the back of here. So it says it'll take about 7 to 14 days for it to start germinating, and then 60 to 90 days after that. So it'll be a minute before we probably see anything, but still exciting. Okay, so the 15 minutes are up for the first one, and look how much water that absorbed in just 15 minutes. Here's comparison to the other one that I started just a minute or so after this one. I am shocked. So we're gonna move on to the next steps. An extra bonus place that you can sometimes find plants cheaper would be from yard sales. So sometimes if people are moving, especially if they're moving cross country, they are not going to take their house plants or their potted plants because, well, that's very expensive, and the likelihood that it's going to survive that entire move is not super high. My mom has gotten plants that way before, and it's definitely a more inexpensive means of doing it. Sometimes people will even be giving them away for free just because they'd rather it go to a good home than them just leave it to die at their house, or have to just throw it in the trash because, you know, that's a very hard thing to move. So that's an extra bonus tip of another place that you can find plants for cheaper for spring. And like I said, I've mentioned planting a lot, but springtime and planting, I feel like, just go hand in hand. And if you're a homemaker, you probably also like gardening. Not everybody does, but it's kind of a newer thing that I'm enjoying. So my second one still needs a little bit more time, but we've got the first one planted. Doesn't look like anything right now, but we'll see. So we've got one basil plant down, one in the works, and I think I'm gonna start the spear mix next. And then I'll be putting these outside of my porch. Fingers crossed. I'll try to keep you guys updated if they start growing. So leave me a comment down below on this video. What is your favorite spring homemaking thing to do? Is it gardening? Do you get excited for switching your wardrobe over for spring? I know I certainly do with the wardrobe thing, because I don't love winter and fall clothes. I am much more of a spring, summer person. I like those clothes better. I like the colors better for those seasons. But there's just so many wonderful things about spring. I mean, you get to finally get back outside some, and it's sunnier, it's brighter for longer. Here's your cat break in the video. She wants me to hold her like a baby all the time. Yeah, you say hi. She likes to be held like a baby and just carried around the kitchen or everywhere. So yeah, this is your cat break while I wait to move some soil around. Another good part about spring is getting that motivation to do some spring cleaning and spring decluttering, which I know you hear spring cleaning and you think, oh, like, do I really want to do that? But it's the feeling afterwards that's always so great. And springtime decluttering, just moving stuff out of your house so you're ready for the upcoming seasons, because there's nothing I dislike more than being stuck in the house when the weather is super nice outside. So in early spring, and depending on where you are in the country, it might still be kind of crummy weather wherever you're at, is a perfect time to get that spring cleaning and spring decluttering done. For example, a few weeks back, I got rid of a bunch of old placemats because I have a bit of a placemats addiction. I love them. I use them all the time. And yeah, so I have to rein it in at times. We're just finishing up the last one, and I have to say I've really enjoyed using these bowls because it has the pour spout, so it makes it a lot easier to just like pour this in here. And it's really simple. All I did was, rehydrated the disc, so that's how I got all of this good soil. If you hear that buzzing in the background, that's my microwave. I'm so sorry for all the background noise. You can hear my microwave and my dryer, all of that stuff. But this is real life. So, we just get all of that really good soil in there, and then I just cut my last little seed package, dump those seeds into here, and then lightly press them in to the soil. Like I was saying, lightly press them into the soil, and then just wet them a little bit. Also, it specifies warm water. I would say the little disc doesn't break apart as well without warm water. So that's our last one. This is the spearmint. So very excited about that. So my last spring frugal homemaking tip is related to your clothes. So it's always hard, I feel like, when you're transitioning from like your cold weather wardrobe to your spring and summer weather wardrobe, sometimes to remember, like, how do my old clothes go together? Figuring out what holes you have in your current wardrobe that you need to fill out. So I think it's a good time to play dress up, lay things out on your bed, try them on, see if things go together, figure out where your holes are, if there are any, or you might be totally fine. Such as like this outfit today. I haven't worn this skirt. I'm trying to show you guys the bottom of it, but I haven't worn this skirt in like forever. But last year I thrifted this t-shirt that goes along with this skirt really well with the colors in the blue flowers. It picks it up really well. So it's kind of like going through and just trying on and figuring out outfits that go together. And if you can build like basic outfits, then you can just mix and match the pieces in your wardrobe to make those outfits kind of go together, especially if you've maybe thrifted something new recently that you're not sure how you're going to pair it or how you're going to match it up, which I'll show you something right now that I've already worked on. So like a new skirt like this, I haven't gotten to wear it yet, but it's kind of hung up on here wonky, but this little skirt with these red floral embroidery. So that's kind of like a really, like a statement kind of a skirt. So I'll just take this, come to the other side of my wardrobe where my tops are, and try to figure out what are a few different tops that I could wear this with, which, let me go ahead and adjust this on the hanger so you can kind of really see what I'm talking about. Because sometimes you'll have thrifted new things for spring, summer, over the winter and fall time that you're like, okay, well now I have the weather to wear this, how am I going to wear it? So you can always, of course, go basic and pair it just with a plain t-shirt, because that red is going to pick up that beautiful red in the floral embroidery. Or you can mix patterns and do something like this, which this is really gorgeous together. I'll actually try it on and show you because it looks super cute and very elevated because you're adding like a really fancy top with a fancy skirt. So I'll show that to you real quick. Okay, I moved the camera down so you could really see this, but this red and white shirt looks really good with this denim skirt because of the embroidery. I'll do a full turn. And it's just a way that I have figured out how to pair a new item that I thrifted off season with something that was already in my wardrobe. So I would say number one tip, shop your own closet. Look for things that you've maybe thrifted new in the past few months that you've not been able to wear yet, and try to match those items up so you will actually wear them and not just stick to the old things that you already have. If you do have holes in your wardrobe, say you don't have enough like spring chino pants, like that's something I'm on the lookout for. I have enough, but I would like some new spring colored chino pants because I really like chino pants. Then thrift first, consignment store sales. I do not go and buy full price clothes in the spring ever. I mean, unless I had to have something, which I can't even really think of an example because I haven't had to get anything. Like say you had to go to a funeral and you needed a black dress. That's the sort of thing, or you know, you had some event that you didn't have something for and you've got to go buy something full price. I can't even imagine doing that, but I would still probably go look at a consignment store first, and I'd rather pay the consignment store price than a full price store because clothes are so expensive nowadays. But if you hear that, that's my cat because she can't be in here when I have these closet doors open. But so, like I said, shop your closet, try to add together outfits from thrifted pieces you already have, and look for the holes if you've maybe thrifted something that you have nothing else to go with it. Like for example, let's see something that would be hard. Oh, so say you've thrifted something like this skirt, which I have worn this, but we're just going to say for example, I would look and see, okay, a t-shirt is always going to go with this sort of thing. So what color do I need to pick up on? Well, there's some light blue, there's some lavender, there's some of this like goldy yellow color, and those are the colors that I need to pick up on. Or you can kind of add the next level complementary color, as I would call it, and do something like this dark purple, because it brings out this purple but just goes a shade darker. I hope this all makes sense to you guys. But this is how my brain kind of works when I'm putting together outfits from all thrifted pieces. The vast majority of my clothes are secondhand. I hardly ever buy anything new. I mean, rarely. So sometimes I think people have a hard time putting together outfits because they're used to going into a store and buying pieces that already match or go together and putting them in their wardrobe versus like thrifting a random skirt and then coming home and having to figure out how to match it. So match the things that you've already got up in your wardrobe and then use this time to thrift and find things. I know people say often, you know, you need to thrift off season. I do not have that where I live. The thrift stores where I live, and it might be the same for you guys, which is why I'm saying this, mine do hold back items that are not in season. So like Christmas clothes or like fall clothes, like if there was like a t-shirt that had a pumpkin on it, they would not put that out this time of year. They hold back bathing suits in the winter. So they have brought out a lot of that pretty spring, summer dresses and skirts and things like that just now that they've been having put away all season. And now it's like, it's all the spring, summer stuff they've been accumulating for like 6 months is now, just now hitting the stores. Such as, I'll show you 2 new dresses that I've just gotten. First is this absolutely stunning vintage dress from Connected Petite. Y'all, it says petite. I mean, this is like past my knee. I don't know in what world this is a petite, but it's got this beautiful floral detailing, and honestly, it looks like something that I would pick up from a store now, even though it's vintage. And then speaking of petites, this is also labeled petite, but this is the first time I've ever had one of these smocked dresses with these beautiful sleeves, and it has these gorgeous tiers. So even things that are like super on trend, you can still sometimes find them at thrift stores. I would say this is really on trend. It reminds me of the brands like Jessica K and Ivy City Co. It's not that brand. I don't know what this label is. I'll show you guys. If you let me know if you know what this label is, because I have never seen this before and I can honestly barely read the cursive. But you can even thrift on season stuff, of the moment items right now. You know, sometimes people might think, oh, you know, you can't find on trend items at the thrift store. It's just old stuff. It's not just old stuff. I mean, look at this top. This is, I feel like, kind of trendy because it's got a little bit of a puff sleeve to it. Jean skirts are really on trend. Denim maxi skirts are super on trend, and I'm telling you, like, that was something that was already big in the 90s. You can find that secondhand. I found a gorgeous one, vintage, that was not my size. That was like a vintage Liz Claiborne, like, acid wash. So cute. Would have been so trendy, but, you know, just wasn't my size. But I've been finding denim skirts like that all the time at thrift stores, and I don't know. I don't live in an area that's necessarily like super trendy, like a New York City or an LA or something like that. I'm in East Tennessee, so our style is not, you know, we're trendy Southern, not trendy. So, you know, those are my spring frugal homemaking tips. We'll go through them one more time. First, find free events and classes in your area. It's a great way to pick up new skills, meet new people, learn new things, and it'll only improve your homemaking. Second is to work with the plants that are already in your yard. The things that are already there, don't go tearing everything out because you want to put in all brand new stuff. I mean, unless you've got the money to do that, more power to you. I'd rather see what comes up first and then do that. Third, get plants from family and friends. I'm telling you, people will be happy to give you their clippings if you live close by. Fourth, gardening related tip. If you can't figure out, if you don't have those first two, maybe you're in a new build, you don't live near family, you haven't developed a network of friends yet, at least friends close enough that you'd feel okay to say, hey, can I have some of your plant? Go to Lowe's, go to yard sales. You can sometimes, like I said, Amish farmers markets. I sometimes got some free plants there. And then fifth, work with the spring clothes you already have. I'm telling you, you don't need to go out and buy new full price spring summer clothes. Thrift them first. If you look in your own wardrobe first, thrift them second, and then third, go to some consignment stores. I already know some consignment stores near my mom are having like spring clearance, that they're clearing out what they've got already. They're like just now starting to drop the prices, and eventually they'll be $1 to move in their summer items, their summer merchandise. I'm actually losing one of my favorite consignment stores. They're closing down, which is like the saddest thing ever. I'm really sad about that. So, you know, I've been waiting to get some of their closeout deals since they're going to be closing down the store. So, you know, look around for that sort of thing if the store's closing, and they might have some really super great deals. So, I hope this video encouraged you that you can do spring homemaking and do it on the less expensive than maybe sometimes you see people on YouTube doing, who are buying lots and lots of plants to put in their yard. We all have different budgets. We all have different financial means, and I hope that these money saving tips are just a real big encouragement to you, and you can see you can have a wonderful spring homemaking time, but on a very little budget. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.